Hello, it's me, and I'm still alive and back with some very chaotic art videos after 2 months. I'm sorry for that. Also, this video took me especially long because I had to record it 3 times already because my microphone decided didn't want to work for me anymore. So, what are we doing today? Well, I don't know you, but whenever I want to draw something but don't know exactly what, there is nothing better than making a sacrifice to the gods of chaos and letting them decide my fate. In other words, I roll some shiny dice and look at the table to get a random drawing prompt. And that's what we are doing today. We are rolling some dice to get some words, and then we are turning those words into characters. Okay, let's roll for our first character. And we got witch, hunter, and bat. Let's see what we can cook with that. My initial idea is to make a witch who hunts and not exactly a witch hunter, even though she would probably hunt witches who are doing questionable things. And speaking of witches in this universe are people deeply connected to nature in a very unique way. Some of them are born with that connection while others develop it with time. And that connection can manifest in many different ways, depending on which element of nature you are more connected to and things like your personality. You might have a strong bond with something like the sun and have golden shiny eyes, or maybe it's a specific type of flower and you always smell like that flower. Or you could even be connected to something like an animal, like a bird, and have feathers all over your body. And in the case of our little bat witch, she used it to live a pretty normal and boring life in a small town working as a glassblower. She always had a very difficult time seeing things in daylight. Everything always was so bright, so she mostly stayed at home working. That was until one night she decided to go out of the house and found out that for some reason she could actually see things way better when it's dark. And not only that, but she started to hear people all over town and know where they were just by hearing them walk and talk. She of course never told a soul any of that, since it was easy enough to hide. Well, at least it was easy to hide until her eyes turned bright green and some of her teeth started to grow long and sharp. She thought she had been turned into a vampire somehow, so she decided to run away before anyone noticed that. And so she did. And eventually, she found other witches who live outside the mirrors and started to learn with them, and now she is a part of a coven of night creatures inspired witches. A very fun and random fact about this character is that she is inspired by fruit bats and by a fruit called jabuticaba, because when I was little and living in my grandma's house, there was a jabuticaba tree, and because of that tree, there were always bats at night, and I was very scared of them until I learned that they were not vampire bats, so they did not drink blood, and that they just really liked jabuticaba, which I could relate a lot. I really like that fruit. And inspired by that, her personality is basically looks very scary but is actually very sweet with the ones she loves. And her name is Yanara. Of the 3 illustrations, this one is my least favorite, but it was the first one I did, and I was still testing how I could create some character art for my videos without spending more than 10 hours per drawing, so I ended up not giving myself the time I needed to finish her, but I still like how she turned out, and I definitely want to redraw her eventually and improve her design and other things. Also, the other 2 characters ended up looking way better, especially the last one. And speaking of which, let's roll for our second character. And we got Moss, Wizard, and Bread. Okay, but we already drew a baker not too long ago, so I'm just going to roll one more time and turn this character into the baker's boyfriend. Don't ask, I don't make the rules. By the way, the baker now has a name, and his name is Balthazar. So we have Moss, Wizard, and Snail. Let's see what we can do with that. Since the baker gives me a very strong golden retriever, little sunshine vibes, our snail wizard called Theo could have a strong blood cat energy and just be tired all the time because we need balance in this relationship. And the baker has probably too much energy and sugar in his blood. They are an adorable couple, but that wasn't always the case. When Balthazar first arrived at one of the villages inside the mirror, he and his family were well received by the villagers. Well, by most of them at least. Some families weren't exactly friendly. Beth's parents were adventurers after all, and adventurers in certain regions are often paid to hunt magic people. And Theo's family was especially wary of those strangers. After some time, Bess and his family were very well installed, and Bess had even started to make some friends. But Theo couldn't really understand why everyone liked this noisy outsider. He was always running and tripping and breaking things. He found that really annoying. That was until someday, Bess appeared with a cookie box and offered some to Theo, who said that he could not eat those cookies because he can't eat wheat. And to that, Bess answered, "Those don't have wheat." He then told the other boy that he was learning how to bake, and he wanted to bake things that everyone in the village could enjoy. And that's pretty much how they became friends, and eventually fell in love with each other. I know it's very basic and very sugary, but it makes my heart happy, so I'm keeping it. Also, Theo, just like snails, look pretty hard and closed on the outside, but he is actually made out of butter in the inside. He loves to study the magical properties of moths, and he has a snail familiar, which needs a name, by the way. Leave name suggestions in the comments, thank you. He also loves to hide books inside his shell, which, by the way, he has a shell, since he is from the lineage of snail people. And I really need to learn how to give cooler names to things. And yes, the baker won his heart with snail-shaped bread. Painting Theo was actually really relaxing, and I finished this illustration in like less than 3 hours, which for me is quite a short time. Doing those laid-back drawings with not a lot of pressure has been really nice for me, especially since I usually put a lot of pressure on myself when I'm creating something like this. But it's really great to do some projects that are very deep in my comfort zone from time to time. Creating this little wizard was really fun, but now I have no idea what to do with the next character because we interrupt this transmission to let you know that I am the biggest of the potatoes, because I forgot to press record time-lapse while working on the next illustration. I did record the full process in OBS, so we do have footage, but it will be a different kind of footage that we are used to do in the Encompass. I will use this as an opportunity to test a new format of art video, and I apologize for my goblin brain. Thank you for your attention. Now back to our usual schedule. Wait, what? What was that? Okay, back to the dice, I guess. So we got shield, wings, knight, and I don't know why I rolled one more time, and we got cat. And now cat grows might be canon in this universe. Okay, when I first rolled for this character, I had zero ideas of what to do. I thought about maybe doing a tabaxi or even a literal cat with armor and a shield. But the voices in my head were louder and I went with a buffet cat grow because I like ladies that can crush my head like a melon, and drawing cat ears is kinda cute. So in this universe we have those villages that exist in pocket dimensions called mirrors, and they are here to protect magical creatures of all kinds. And to protect them, we have a group of knights called the Silver and the Bronze Wings, which are respectively the sword and the shield of the woods. And Melina, which is the name of this character, is a member of the Bronze Wings. And wings always come in pairs, so if this video goes well, I might do a part 2 and design more random characters for this universe, including her fighting partner. So Melina helps escort magical beings to safety and prevent humans from entering the mirror. Her fighting style is heavily focused on defense, so she mainly uses her shield and some protective and buff spells to guarantee her teammates can do their job. She is basically a tank. Cat people, for the lack of a cooler name, are from a kingdom in another continent, but that kingdom was devastated by the war. So she and her mom immigrated to a mirror when she was very young. She doesn't remember much of her original home, but she always noticed how her mom looked through the window, with her eyes lost in the horizon. She can't stop the expansion all by herself, but she can still fight to protect the places that are still safe for her kind, and to give shelter to those who already lost everything. So that's why she decided to join the Wings. And she loves what she does. And she's actually very good at it. And here's a fun fact about her. Her personality and design are lightly inspired by one of my cats called Yasha. Because I am now living with them and with my boyfriend, and I want to draw them as RPG characters. So she is pure chaos. She is always running and can be accidentally very destructive at times. But she has also a big heart and loves cuddles and making cookies. That is also why she has vitiligo, because Yasha is a tuxedo cat. And I just want to learn how to diversify my characters more, because I love drawing fantasy, and fantasy is for everyone. Her armor is supposed to look like bronze, but painting metals can be quite difficult. I like how it turned out, but I really should do more material studies. And eventually, when I have more time, I would love to really stop and design her armor and add more details and possibly some wings and maybe some cat motifs. And with her illustration done, what about we take a look at the final results? Oh boy, we actually did it! We have a new video and there are more than one character illustration in that video. I hope you have liked this challenge, and if you want to join me and roll for some character design, feel free to use this or any of my tables that are available at my Instagram highlights. And if you don't mind, please tag me if you do so, because I would love to see what you create with those. I am already working on my next video, and hopefully it won't take me through whole months to make something. I hope you have liked this video, and I hope to see you in another adventure. Bye!